How is the Nimzo-Indian Defense different from the Queen's Indian Defense? If you have ever wondered how the Nimzo-Indian Defense differs from the Queen's Indian Defense, you are in for a treat. Both openings are responses to White's first move of pawn to d4, but they take different paths right from the start. Let's break down the key differences between these two fascinating defenses. The Nimzo-Indian Defense begins with the moves one pawn to d4, knight to f6, two pawns to c4, and then pawn to e6, followed by knight to c3 and bishop to b4. This setup allows Black to pin White's knight on c3. The goal here is to challenge White's pawn structure and potentially double the pawns on the queen side if White captures the bishop. This opening has a more aggressive character, as it directly confronts White's setup. On the other hand, the Queen's Indian Defense starts with the same first moves of one pawn to d4, knight to f6, two pawns to c4, and pawn to e6, but then follows with knight to f3 and pawn to b6. Instead of pinning a knight, Black prepares to fianchetto the Queen's bishop to b7. This move aims to control the light squares in the center, particularly e4 and d5, without creating immediate tension. When it comes to strategy, the Nimzo-Indian Defense is often seen as more dynamic. Black's early bishop pin creates opportunities for active play and can lead to imbalanced positions. This opening can generate complex middle-game scenarios where Black can exploit weaknesses in White's pawn structure. Conversely, the Queen's Indian Defense is more positional and solid. It focuses on piece placement and controlling key squares through the fianchettoed bishop. This approach avoids early structural commitments, allowing Black to build a flexible defense that restricts White's central expansion. In practical terms, players who choose the Nimzo-Indian often enjoy complex battles with chances for both sides. This opening can lead to rich positions where Black can capitalize on White's weaknesses. Meanwhile, the Queen's Indian is preferred by those who like a reliable defense that limits White's options without immediate confrontation. It often results in slower games where Black patiently develops counterplay. Interestingly, the Queen's Indian Defense is sometimes referred to as the sister opening to the Nimzo-Indian. Both share the idea of controlling White's central ambitions, particularly the push to e4, but they do so in different ways. Many players who adopt the Nimzo-Indian also find the Queen's Indian a useful defense, switching between them based on White's move order. In summary, the Nimzo-Indian Defense is characterized by an early pin on White's knight, leading to potential structural weaknesses for White and a more aggressive style of play. The Queen's Indian Defense, however, uses a fianchettoed bishop to control light squares in a more solid manner, avoiding immediate confrontations. Both openings aim to restrict White's central control but differ in their approach and style, with the Nimzo-Indian offering sharper play and the Queen's Indian providing a more reserved defense.